Okay. We'll call this meeting to order. Salute flag. Brian?
I pledge allegiance
To the flag
of the United States of America,
to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everybody tonight to our town board meeting. The first item of business is to approve minutes of the June 8th, 2022 town board meeting. Motion by Councilman Larkin, second by Councilman Alexander. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Town clerk's report.
June 1st, 2022, monthly report. Commercial fireworks, $50. Marriage license fees, $35. Clerk fees, $14.50. Public health fees, $70. Landfill and punch cards, $20,047. That's good. Business occupancy licenses, $2,195. Short-term vacation rentals, $2,400. Dog licensing fees, $264. Building permits, $418.25. Septic permit of $60. Total local shares remitted, $25,553.75.
Okay, supervisor's report. Total monies on hand, $211,845.54. Assessor.
Assessor's report, July. According to the New York State real property tax laws, the real final roll for 2022 have been completed and were made available to the public on Friday, July 1st. Newspaper ad was placed in the Post Star on July 1st. Notices have been placed on the town clerk's and assessor's bulletin board in the town hall. 2022 final roll assessment rolls can be viewed in either the town clerk's or assessor's offices during regular business hours. They're also accessible through a link on the town's website. The month of July is the start of assessment cycle for the upcoming year. We have already begun updating partial data, accessory regular.
Justice.
Report for July. Judge Fisk heard 72 cases, collected fines of $5,825, fees of $370, surcharges of $2,426. Judge Perillo heard 64 cases, collected fines of $5,437, fees of $210, and surcharges of $2,139. Total cases in June were 121. Total dollars received in June, $16,407. Town share for April, $3,875. Town share for May, $6,330.
Okay, dog control officer. You want to read that, Brett?
Sure.
This will probably be Brett's last report. He's taken a job out in the western part of the country, and he tells us he's going to leave. He's going to be sorely missed by us and all the other towns because he serves numerous towns. So everybody would like to chase dogs, let us know.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a big loss, but I wish him well.
Anonymous call of night barking at 17 Echo Lane. Was able to make contact and return at a later date. Another call of constant barking at 32 Walden Avenue. Able to make contact with the resident. He'll return and follow up on that as well. Dogs using town property on River Street is a bathroom. On arrival, spoke with Josh LaPointe regarding the issue. He's agreed to clean up. Issued him a license for unlicensed dogs, and the whole works there. So, 40 Burdick Avenue, neglect of a dog and some cats. She hadn't even been staying at the place since she was coming home every day to keep an eye on her pets, but she agreed to meet him, and he's following up on that. 40 Burdick Avenue, spoke with Ms. Grasso again about found the animals were in good health and water and shelter. She's moving out of state within 2 months, so that's resolving itself. Received a call from Warren County Sheriff's Department regarding a bite that took place 211 River Street. Spoke with Ms. Simpson, stated that previous to her dog, a blue husky mix had gotten loose and bit Noah Rivers on the foot. I explained that the 10-day quarantine period in which she agreed, she'll return and the dog will be released from quarantine.
Okay. Planning.
Planning report for July. Let's see, there were 1 sewer connection, 3 septic, and 13 land use development permits issued in the month of June. Zone board does not have a meeting this month due to lack of applications. Planning board meeting July 5th was canceled as applicants withdrew a site plan review of applicant to the event venue 3921 Main Street. The board will meet August 2nd for review of subdivisions on Harrington Hill Road.
It's all right.
You let him go for a week, he forgets his turn. Enforcement officer.
Received a review of the APA regarding property 18. Sure. Received a review from the APA regarding property 184-1-6.3. Property owner was advised that an amendment to the permit would be required. Addressed to the Warren County person staying overnight in town parks. After discussion, signs were posted in all town parks to notify and give the police the right to remove persons in the town parks between 9 p.m. and 9 a.m. Discussed with the Warren County Sheriff's complaints of persons parking on the sidewalks. Tickets were issued and will be issued to violators in the future. Provided the town contract more with a list of 6 properties to mow. Issued a commercial fire permit to Camp Echo Lake. Met with the owner of Gallup Farms to verify all commercial activities were discontinued at the old location. As of June 9th, code enforcement was working on 26 properties for not mowing. Reviewed Bike Week vendors. Issued a warning to the owner of 11 Hudson Street for discarded furniture on the property. Issued a short-term rental to 19C Evergreen Way and 124 Forest Lake Road. Forwarded the updated list to Warren County Treasurer. Spoke with a party regarding a noise ordinance. Received a call from the APA on a parcel to see if any permits were issued by the town for the property. None were. Checked mowing compliance. 9 have been mowed. Discussed with a complaining party issues regarding handicap access to property they were renting. I advised them to contact Warren County Building Codes and Americans with Disabilities Act. With the assistance of the zoning administrator, Patty Corlewis, short-term rental list for Warrensburg online was searched and notices were sent to persons needing a town permit. Some have complied, some have been in court and then complied. Been working on a new application for the Hamlet expansion of the APA. June 22nd, 3 notices for grass over height were sent out. Discussed with Luzerne Town Board member Jim Niles our short-term rental law and how it works here. Also sent copies of the law and the application. Sent a grass warning to the owner of 30 Stacy Street. Traveled with a town contractor to 3 locations for the removal of furniture, trees down, and brush removal. Checked on a complaint for an abandoned car on Mill Avenue. Met with Warren County Sheriff's. Car was removed by them. Checked on a septic at Cloverleaf project was not ready for inspection. Issued a short-term rental permit for 2111 Spoon River Road. Updated the list and forwarded the list to Warren County Treasurer Swan.
Highway Department.
Highway, the month of June, been very busy installing a new culvert on Veely Pond Loop with the assistance of Warren County Soil and Water. We've also completed our buttermilk project for DEC and continue mowing throughout the town. We've taken care of a broken ditch line on Warren Street with a new blacktop ditch line. We've started our road work on Library Avenue and Jenny Jill Drive. We have blacktop over the new culvert on Swan Street.
Nothing for EDC this one. Okay. Landfill.
Landfill, $10,500 to the good, as was alluded to in Pam's report with a bunch of cars and whatnot, so landfill's doing just fine.
Okay. Anything new on lighting, John?
Just worried, like I said, you've signed the contracts with LED, so it's in the design phase. We'll hear from Casey and ASA very soon, see if we'll have perhaps a fall or starting date for going.
Okay. Historian.
Sandy Parisi, Town Historian. Town board meetings attended, town board meeting. Martha Strodel came in twice. She is working on an article for the Warren County Historical Society on the North Country Arts Center. I was able to give her quite a bit of information. Sandra Carpenter McNeil brought in a photo album from her family dating back to the 1800s. Most had names. I have recorded these in the Ancestry program and will be taking them to the museum for scanning and entering them in the Past Perfect program. Completed several notebooks from the file cabinets and started notebooks for the school by year. This will free up a bit of room in the file cabinets, and I have quite a bit of room in bookcases for the new notebooks. Museum visitors, meetings, etc. June 12th and 26th, I guided at the museum. Continued entering Thurman items in Past Perfect. Have been working with Laura on weeding out items to make more room, as the storage space is quite full. Historian projects, etc. Researching Revolutionary War for the county historian. Obituaries recorded and filed. As mentioned before, I've been recording the senior graduates in the Ancestry program. I complete about 2 each day I'm in. I continued to file information on COVID and filing of daily current events, along with Thurman items still needing filing. Deaths for the month of June: Edgar Jacob Drexel Jr., Jamie Allen Persons, Arthur A. Healy, Michael Ellis Hill, George W. Sprague. Office hours 30.5. Volunteer at the office was Wendy. Museum for 2 days. Museum hours 19, and Shar volunteered 4 days. Thank you.
Okay, Laura, museum?
So for 2022, we've been open 13 days. Visitor attendance for 2022 is at 19. The student groups, we had one student group that was 50 students. And then in regards to meetings, I attended the June 22nd comp plan meeting with myself, Gary Cooper, Teresa, and John Alexander. We hope to meet again in August. In regards to occupancy tax activities, I've listed some items that I'm pursuing for occupancy tax from the town. In regards to correspondence, I prepared letters for someone asking about spas. Also responded to an inquiry about events in the town of Warrensburg. In regards to marketing, rack cards were returned from the Lake George Steam Company, and I have a request from the Sloatsburg Information Center for rack cards, so I have a way to get them in and get them out. Volunteers, all of my slots are filled, so I'm all set for the season. And then I wanted to thank the volunteers of the time on June 16th, total 32 hours worth of volunteers, with 9 volunteers handling 50 students. We are still working, still working on our August 28th golf and Sticky Wicket event. Saturday, July 9th, I'll report that in July's event, but that went extremely well with author Deidre Sinat. And then we will also continue working on the September 23rd event for Jim Allen's Famous Chicken Barbecue. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Thank you. Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec for July. Beach was open without any problems. The grass has not stopped growing, so mowing and weed whacking are all parks, buildings, pockets, cemeteries. It's kept us busy while still maintaining the ball fields for Little League. Chain link fence was taken down from tennis courts, so the courts can be redone. The pickleball courts can be installed, and new fence can be installed. Respectfully, Tracy Noy.
All right, and as John said, the beach has opened. We started swim lessons, a couple classes a week, and it started off very well. Of course, the weather is cooperative, and we're fully staffed with our lifeguards. We're very fortunate, and we hope for a good summer season. As you know, we partner with the school on the swim lessons. So anything we do up there on the swim lessons, the school got a grant and they pay for most of that. So we're very fortunate to have a good relationship with the school, and we look towards building the swim lessons. And we have some thoughts about continuing to improve the beach area at Echo Lake. We do need to put some trees in, which is all part of our plan. And we're reaching out to find out when the best time to plant those are. So. Sewer?
Sewer report for July. The sewer line, Crystal Chrysler, was tapped by the contractor under the supervision of the sewer department. The battle continues at the sewer plant to keep running without failing. Bids are open for the dredging of lagoons. Cedarwood is reviewing them. Pump station C was cleaned by hand, about 30 gallons of sand and grit was removed from the bottom of the station. That's the reason behind. Water meetings have been held with the Department of Health, Department of Transportation, Cedarwood Engineering to replace the deteriorating water line at the Route 9 Bridge. Inspection valve was installed on the 8-inch main so we could isolate the bridge and install temporary bypass while the pipe was being replaced. The water main was tapped by the contractor, Crystal Chrysler, under the supervision of the water department. Cedarwood Engineering is finalizing the water transmission project, butting up some issues with the national grid. And towers have been creeping up on the wells, and although we haven't issued any water restrictions yet, we'd like to ask people to try to keep the sprinklings to 2 hours. The meter is read from the quarter this month, effective 1st of November.
Okay. And the summer youth program has started. It's going full tilt. We probably doubled or tripled the amount of children attending. It's pushing around 130 children every day now, 60 some in the arts and crafts and another 65 on the athletic side of it. Was that you? Yeah. Let's see. Again, this is a new program for us. We have academics and our arts and crafts and athletics going on at the same time. And it's worked out very well. And the school has actually stepped up. And rather than have any rain dates this year, they're going to let us use the elementary school gymnasium on days where it rains. So our children will benefit. They'll get 4 days a week of recreation and education this summer. So we're very pleased. And Danny Oliver's done a lot of work with our program directors, Mike Perone and Antoinette Fruda. And Antoinette is just the recent graduate last year at Warrensburg Central School, and she took over the arts and crafts program. And planning on 20 kids to have 65 your first day was a shock to the system. But they've handled it very well, and we continue on. So again, I'm extremely pleased with the way the school has reached out and is cooperating and working with us this year. So we look for a good program. On communications, we got to thank you for the Warrensburg Chamber of Commerce for supporting them on the golf tournament. We had an email from Kathleen Wolfkin about short-term rentals. She saw something that Queensbury was doing, didn't realize that we had already had a short-term rental permit in place. And we explained that to her, and she was very thankful. Also, the IRS has raised the mileage allowance from 58.5 to 62.5 cents per mile starting July 1st, 2022. We were recently notified last couple of days we would be receiving our second payment of $202,563.48 for the American Resource Plan Act local fiscal recovery funds. So we'll be getting our second payment, which will bring us up to around $405,000 total. Unfinished business, we received a letter from Warrensburg Emergency Services about steps needed to establish the EMS taxing district. And we're working with them, and that's part of our agenda later on tonight. And then we all went up, most of us went up to view the property on Alden Avenue that Henry Moulton was interested in purchasing, but at this time, we're not going to sell any of that property till we have further discussion. Okay, we have a guest here tonight, Scott Fitzgerald. Scott would like to address the town board about obtaining a 10% solar discount on our electric bill. Scott, I guess that microphone would.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time, gentlemen. So very simple. I work for Solar on Earth. We partner with the solar developers in New York State. Back in 2018, New York State legislation passed their Go Green initiative. What that means is that they're going to start utilizing solar arrays to generate clean energy power and push them to the carbon free. What the developers do is they essentially take your meters and they associate with one of their active solar farms and generate your power consumption that you get on a normal basis from National Grid. In doing so, you pay on your power consumption per kilowatt. So this program covers your delivery and your supply costs on your bill. So generally you can factor if you know you're spending $10,000 a month, you can generally factor that you're going to save yourself 10% of that $1,000 a month. All right, and so forth and so on when it comes to the year. The program is free in, the program is free out. When they opened up in 2018, New York State opened up for residential first. And aggressively in 2020, they opened it up for small commercials, expanding to what now is large commercial businesses having the availability also. This is not a supply company, not an ESCO. It is not somebody that is going to be supplying your power per se. What it is it's an entirety. National Grid calls it a transfer credit. It comes in your miscellaneous section of your National Grid bill, where you find your late payments, paperless billing, miscellaneous type credits. Okay. Like I said, there's no cost for the program. You don't have to install any solar panels. Like I said, New York State is pushing this way to basically relieve the pockets of residents, commercial people that don't want to spend tens of thousands of dollars and have to put their own solar arrays up. So once again, free program in, free program out. If you ever need to get out, you just give them a 90-day notice. It's a common courtesy. What it does is the developers then will remove you from the solar farm, removing your credits from National Grid. And it's allowed that way, so that way maybe you're a rental, maybe you're looking to add or take away meters on your house or so forth in your business. So very simple. Like I said, you don't put panels up. It doesn't cost any money. It is not a supply company. Those are the biggest things that we hear about when we talk. But yeah, any questions?
How many municipalities around us are doing it currently?
Currently, Washington County is pretty much almost everyone has signed into the program. If you talk to Jen Farrell, comptroller for Lake George, they've actually been in the program. I stopped and visited them about a month ago. She wasn't even aware she was on the program. We went over, right? It's kind of funny. People don't realize they sign up for it. But I looked over every single bill that they have, and they have the credit on there. She had indicated to me it was whoever deals with that sort of facility type stuff that probably signed them up for it. So they've been with the program. I know I've stopped in the area. I'm working with a few towns right now, but it's Crown Point. I know Mariah has the program, doing stuff with Ticonderoga. In Washington County, we've worked with Whitehall Town Village. Let's see, you got Argyle, you've got Scaticoke, Greenwich. Bear with me, I'm sorry, there's a lot of towns. Easton, I'm trying to remember everybody. Like I said, I'm working right now with Chestertown. Like I said, Mariah has it. Ticonderoga is working with them. Obviously, I'm here with you guys, so bear with me. Richfield Springs, which is out in Western New York. Chesterfield just initially signed up today. Hoosick Falls has been with the program. Yeah, I apologize. There's quite a few. Sorry, there's a lot more towns in the state of New York. It's just hard to remember.
So do the town municipality have to endorse this before residents can make a phone call or go online? And
No. Like I said, initially it was residentials had the first dibs on this. Generally, based on your size of your meters, the smaller meters generally go on faster, residential size meter. Commercial meters can take a longer amount of time, only because these developers are putting puzzles together when they do these solar farms. They are picking from different people on the wait list and putting them on here because they're mandated to max it out. They don't want to be 90% full. They want to be 100% full because then they're reaching those credits to more people than they need to. So no, but when we work with the towns, they do try to utilize their websites, social media to actually reach out to them. It's really nice and helpful because once again, we're not here to solicit. When we talk to somebody, we know exactly who we're looking for. We have a list of a name and address and everything. So we're not soliciting the program. We want people to understand that it is free to do. And I know that sounds hard to believe, but the common sense behind it is you're receiving these solar credits right now. So just so you guys know, as residents in Warrensburg, you're receiving this clean energy. So you're getting the clean energy through the system. National Grid cannot dictate what is carbon and what is clean energy. So you're receiving the energy from the solar arrays. Okay. The difference is you haven't filled out the piece of paper saying, yeah, I want to be part of the community solar program and I want my credits off my bill for it. And the only reason they make you do it is, well, ask yourself this. Why can't they just give you the program to start, the start program? They make you fill out a piece of paper. They just don't want to come back on them and say, hey, I really hate the idea of solar, so I'm not going to support it, with my credits. So once again, the developers just need you to commit to it because they utilize that. They're regulated by NYSERDA, is what it is. If you go on the NYSERDA websites, all those developers are our partners. They come directly to us to do their customer service work, their legwork. They're sitting back receiving the processing paperwork, working with the electric company and making sure they're meeting New York State's goals of the clean energy. And like I said, what we do for them is the paperwork part, this part of it. But no, it is, the towns have done that. We've worked with the towns after the towns sign up. If they're open to letting the residents know, we have worked with them in a certain way to, well, for example, we create a specific application form that designs it just for the town of Warrensburg. And if a resident signs up by using that form off the town, what we do is we'll donate some money, $25 to maybe a food pantry, to maybe a volunteer EMS, to something that you guys designate. It's just an additive because we're not here to throw out solicitations and knock door to door. We're not going to send out flyers. I guarantee most of you have received flyers in the mail and or even via email from National Grid talking about this type of stuff. But I know what's happened is you probably have ignored that kind of stuff because, well, it's spam.
I read one tonight. It's the clean energy one.
From National Grid?
National Grid.
Yeah, I get them all the time. They talk about it.
And
They're not shy about it. They want you to know that they're here to commit to what New York wants. Now, once again, National Grid can't directly sign you up for this. New York State was very specific when they set it up. Every developer is equal in their eyes, New York State's eyes. National Grid cannot use one specific developer for this program. That keeps the money from coming under the table. That's why every developer can only offer 10%. And every developer has to offer it for a 20-year period. But once again, every developer has to let you out of it for free too, at no cost. So there's an even keel across the board. They can't offer one more than the other.
Is there a contract that needs to be signed?
There's an agreement. So this is the agreement that we fill out for you, and then we sign it, or excuse me, we fill it out and send it electronically to the developers. The box is very specific. It says in the box it's a 10% credit. It's a 20-year agreement. The agreement stops it. So what we've seen, we've been doing this in 10 different states. We've been operating for 8 different years doing this. Massachusetts originally started this program back 8 years ago. They started out with commercial, large and medium. When they did that, they were offering a 20% credit. Same idea. Massachusetts said 180 days out, you have to give for notice, free cancellation, but let them know 180 days. But it's a 20% credit. It follows you for 20 years. Now, 8 years later, because the funds are now, you can say, dissipated in a sense for new people coming on, it's a 10% for new people signing up in Massachusetts. What this agreement does is prevent the developers from coming back in 10 years and saying, sorry, funds are running. No, they cannot come back and tell you 5%, 6%, 1, 9, anything like that. They have to honor that 10% for that 20-year agreement. But once again, you can get out for free. They want you to be able to feel the freedom behind it. They want you to be able to move, maybe from nice National Grid to NICEAG, or maybe just move out of state. Maybe you just move locations and forget that you even had the program. Now you got to re-sign up for it. But yeah, that is what we fill out for you. That is what's submitted to the developers. And that's what the developers take with your electric bills to Grid and then start the process for you. Just so you know, I'm sure you're well aware, getting stuff across and built and everything like that with these solar arrays takes time. They are literally on a wait list of anywhere from 4 to 6 months just to start from the day you fill out the paperwork, 4 to 6 months before you even start seeing the credits. And that is basically a given no matter what. They just can't get these things built enough. I mean,
You see that on your National Grid bill, you see it as a solar credit.
You do. It actually says transfer. What I can do is I will actually share with you. This is a standard house in Hudson Falls. This person actually wanted to verify they had it. And this is what you would see. Do you see where it says transfer? At the very bottom. Feel free to pass that down. There's nothing personal on there.
Transfer credit there.
On which website? No, because NYSERDA, their developers, this way. Their developers are listed on NYSERDA. So if you go on to NYSERDA's website, you will find the developers. It ranges from DRS, which is Delaware River Solar, to Perch, to Ampion, to AMP, to Common, and a few other ones that are actually in Tide. But yes, if you go to NYSERDA's website, you can actually find the developers in there. Once again, we are their partner, so we are not the developer by any means. We're just a partner for them. Consolidated billing means it comes directly on the bill. back when New York State started this program in 2018, it was called dual billing. What would happen is everybody would literally see, so what would happen is you would get the credits off of your national grid bill in your case, and then the developer 30 to 60 days later would send you a bill showing the 10% credit. So they would come in and pay your national grid bill. Let's say it was $500. They come in and pay $500 to your bill. It would send you a corrected bill for $450. Now, New York State, back a couple of years ago, said, no, we're going to simplify the process. This dual billing, the developer shouldn't have to do that. And they went to what's called consolidated billing, meaning the credit comes directly on the bill. So no more bill from the developer, bill from National Grid. Nope, directly from National Grid. Simplifying the process.
Bob, do you have any communities around this now?
I'm reviewing this for another one right now.
Okay.
So,
It's very popular, I guarantee you.
we'll report back to both parties now.
Okay.
I'm on vacation next week. It'll be the weekend.
Can I stay away from that town? What's the name of the town? Do you mind? It just keeps me out of that area, so I don't have to go knocking.
This is not a quiz.
Oh, okay, they were actually on the agenda. So I know you guys had talked. Queensbury has solar now, don't they? Panels that process some of their meters?
Correct.
So you guys have that too. So one of the stipulations is New York State doesn't allow what's called double dipping. So if you have solar on your house, you're receiving what's called a net meter credit off of your electric bill. You cannot have this program on it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Yes. So Queensbury is going to have that. I hope that when they whoever talked to you, whether it was a developer or something outsourced, they should let you know that those meters that have credit from solar on them are negated from the program. Now, that doesn't mean that the other meters can't be on it. It's the ones that specifically say net meter credit.
We have about 25 accounts here, so we have a lot of these.
That's funny because Queensbury was actually on my agenda for next week. But that's all right. It's no big deal. I'm glad you're talking about it. If you haven't looked at it,
I got it. I haven't had a chance to look at it the last 2 days. When they asked.
Well-
And I saw that it was on the agenda here, so I thought it was.
well, once again, like I said, if you guys want to reach out, I don't know who you're dealing with personally, but if it's something you want, we're happy to help you guys out and walk you through the process.
Is your contact information?
Here, yeah, you can do it. So like I said, Queensbury is on my agenda next week.
Flyer.
Um,
I have the email, I just, I haven't dug into it, so.
Yeah, that's a standard email I send out to every town. It gives them a quick overview of what community solar is about. And
Any
then
other
from there, we
questions?
process.
Just,
Gotcha.
any of the communities has an experience that have bowed out?
No, actually, no. It's everybody, for you guys, for somebody like us out here, it's a savings process for us. For you guys, it allows you to move your budget accordingly. Because obviously, you know what you're going to spend from year to year. You're planning ahead of time. So if you guys know you're spending X amount of dollars, you can pretty much tell yourself, I'm going to save myself 10%. That allows me to re-budget myself and maybe move some money from this part to that part. And that's kind of where it is for you guys. For really us, it's a savings, trust me. Anywhere from, a few dollars a month to maybe a couple hundred, depending on how much power you technically use. But no, we've never had anybody actually bow out. We've had people cancel meters just because they don't have them anymore, made changes from names, businesses closed down. 2020 was very hard on people. And it's expected, hence the reason why you can get out of the program for free. They don't,
Gotcha.
so, no,
So we'll take this under advisement and then we'll get back to you next month. How about?
sounds good. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Scott.
If anybody else has questions, feel free to have information.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Okay, included in everybody's agenda was a map plan and report for the proposed ambulance district. If you had a chance to look at any of the items, is there any questions? We will have a public hearing next August or next month. It will be August 10th. It would start at 7 o'clock concerning the proposed ambulance district. This seeker, Bob, do we
We're
go
gonna do
through
that after the public hearing.
after the
We're
public
just
hearing?
doing you part one, we didn't do you part two.
Okay, but that will all come after.
Yeah, we'll do that, we'll proposal.
Okay.
If you pass the public hearing, yes, we've already got directions to the town clerk to make sure it's published.
Well, I thought I'll just give a brief overview to the people in the audience tonight. EMS Services is becoming, it's a 1,000-pound elephant on its own. It's reached a state where each community around is standing alone and trying to maintain an EMS service. It looks like, most of the residents expect 24/7 coverage. There aren't volunteers anymore to do that. The exception is the fire department. EMS is billing for service anyways when you go for a ambulance call in most cases. So I've been reluctant to do this because it's another tax on everybody in this room. It'll be a tax on everybody in the community. So that's why I've been opposed to it. I'm not opposed to it anymore because we tried to get the state of New York to allow the county to form a countywide district. And the way the laws are written in the state of New York, they didn't pass that. For some unknown reason, there's not enough wisdom in Albany to think that that would be a smart idea to let a county form an EMS district. So each town can form an EMS district. So rather than be left behind, because I know that the town of Lake George just formed one last year, and they had their employees become employees of the town of Lake George. We hopefully will take a little bit different route, but I went through it with the EMS operations manager. We came up with a budget. The cost to do this will be around $362,000 a year. That would equate to a tax rate of about 99.6 cents per thousand. So we have some calculated taxes on some different size properties. $165,000 assessment would be around $164. 105,000 would be 104, and so forth and so forth. Personally, it's the right thing to do right now of the way things are set up. I believe they have a good plan in place to provide 24/7 coverage for our residents. There's always questions that we will deal when we sign the contract. This is just a funding mechanism. As I look at it, this is a funding mechanism so we can sign a contract with Warrensburg Emergency Services to provide 24/7 coverage to the town of Warrensburg. Now, there'll be a lot of questions asked, and I expect, anybody at a public hearing has questions, I'll try to answer them. Budgetarily, as I spoke with Corey when he came into my office initially, I don't want taxes going up every year. I want to come set on a rate, an amount of money that operation can sustain itself for 3 or 4 years without ever coming back to the taxpayers and saying we need more money. So this is what we've come to. I look forward to the public hearing. I look forward to the questions of the public hearing. They have a lot of good plans over there at EMS, and certainly I promised that I would try to help them come up with a reasonable rate to make our ambulance service successful. So I can tell you some of our neighbors are going to be forced to do the same thing, and they're thinking about it. The only downfall from that is it's like Warrensburg puts one in, maybe Horkin has to form a district, Chestertown has to form a district. Lake George has already got a district, but the workforce is the same. And that's the downfall I see. You have the same workforce, and that's a shame. because if we could have formed a countywide system, we could have had them be county employees. It's not out of the realm. We can't still work on that. Or perhaps, we will work with our neighbors up north and to the south to form, the towns, I guess, can form code districts.
Each town can form a district, and some of them who are also considering this right now.
Yeah.
Are considering possible consolidation.
Consolidation, yeah.
Each town has to form their own district.
That's correct.
Consolidated, you have 2 or 3 or 4 towns. They
Right.
have one big area that can have maybe one squad providing service to all.
Right. And I've talked with my fellow supervisors about that, and they've talked to me about it, and I said, well, let's get the first step in. But this will guarantee 24/7 coverage for the residents of Warrensburg. So we will have a public hearing next month. If you have questions, please bring them next month, and I will make sure that somebody from the emergency squad here is here to answer them. Our job up here is to fund a district, and I believe that we will be responsible to the taxpayers about making sure it's delivered at the most reasonable cost. Right now, I think this is the most reasonable cost. So we did some work on that. So stay tuned and come next month at 7 o'clock. And hopefully we'll shake any questions out. Do any of the board members, Rich, you have any questions?
No.
Brian?
No, not at this time.
Okay. John?
Just you and I talked about the Thurman connection, but that's what we have to be addressed down the road, right?
This is a ambulance district for the town of Warrensburg. So we are here to make sure that the town of Warrensburg has the best coverage possible.
Yep.
So, and I have talked to Deb Runyon and let her know that we are going the route of a district. And as you may or may not know, Warrensburg EMS has a contract with the town of Thurman. So, and we wouldn't interfere with that. So if there's no questions, I'll move on. Oh, yeah, we need to do a resolution to advertise for a public hearing, right? Motion by Rich,
Second.
second by John to advertise for a public hearing on August 10th at 7 PM to discuss the formation of a EMS district. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Okay. Next, I have a resolution request from Labella to apply for a consolidated funding application for submission of a grant in the amount of $70,000 with $63,000 coming from Smart Growth Community Planning and Zoning Grant and town of Warrensburg contributing $7,000. These funds would be used to update the town's existing zoning code and integrate smart growth principles. Somebody want to make a motion to apply for this?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by John,
I'll second it.
second by Brian to apply for a consolidated funding application grant, an amount of $70,000 for smart growth and zoning code changes, updates. Any questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, on water transmission project, Robert, help me along here. We have to,
We had gone through the process of authorizing the transmission line and the funding some years ago. Now we're ready to move forward with the project. The engineer went through, the engineer determined that we need to move the line. When it was originally done, the secret was, it was a type 2 action because there's a provision that if you replace the same type of thing, water line in the same location, that's not, that's considered type 2 when it's exempt. Because it's moving, it's no longer consistent with before. The town board has now figured that out because they've got more details from the engineer. So this is going through the secret process to deal with the change in facts. We have a short form, yeah, in front of you. And we can go through, I don't know if everyone's had a chance to review the part 1, but we can go through part 2 and we get to the questions and comments. The future here. The reason why it's not just a short form is that you're looking for EFC financing
Okay,
So that's why it's more detailed than we're legally required to, but we're wanting money back to it if seen required.
Right.
So there's a bunch of questions. I think you have the engineers, input, but it's your independent review and determinations, and we can lead you through them when you're ready.
we're ready.
Okay. Part one is there the impact on land? Does the proposed action may involve construction on or physical alteration of land service to the proposed site?
Yes.
Okay, because you said yes, we have to go through the list of questions below and find out if you think it's no or small impact, or whether you think there's a moderate or large impact. And go through questions A through H. So question A, the proposed action may involve construction on land or depth to water table that's less than 3 feet.
Small impact.
B, the proposed action may involve construction on slopes of 15% or greater.
Yes.
Moderate, yes.
Okay, C, the proposed action may involve construction on land where bedrock is exposed or generally within 5 feet of existing ground surface.
No.
D, the proposed action may involve the excavation and removal of more than 1,000 tons of natural material.
We think there's moderate impact there, so we said yes.
E, the proposed action may involve construction that continues for more than 1 year or in multiple phases.
No.
F, the proposed action may result in increased erosion, whether from physical disturbance or vegetation removal, including treatment by herbicides.
No, or small impact.
The proposed action is or may be located within a coastal erosion and certain area.
No.
And are there other impacts?
Nope.
Comment number 2. Number 2 is impact on geological features. The proposed action may result in modification or destruction of or inhibit access to any unique or unusual landforms on the site.
No.
No.
If we can skip the sub-questions, we'll go to 3. Impacts on surface water. The proposed action may affect one or more wetlands or other surface water bodies.
Yes.
Okay, then we need to go through the sub-questions. Subquestion A, proposed action may create a new water body.
No.
B, the proposed action may result in an increase or decrease of over 10%, more than a 10-acre increase or decrease in the surface area of any body of water.
No.
No.
C, the proposed action may involve dredging more than 100 cubic yards of material from a wetland or water body.
No.
D, the proposed action may involve construction within or adjoining a freshwater or tidal wetland or in the banks or bed or banks of any other water body.
It's moderate.
E, the proposed action may create turbidity in a water body, either from upland erosion, runoff, or by disturbing bottom sediments. I know that.
No.
Sorry about that. F, the proposed action may include construction of one or more intakes for withdrawal of water from surface water.
No.
G, the proposed action may include construction of one or more outfalls for discharge of wastewater to surface waters.
No.
H, the proposed action may cause soil erosion or otherwise create a source of stormwater discharge that may lead to siltation or other degradation of receiving water bodies.
No.
I, the proposed action may affect the water quality of any water bodies within or downstream of the site of the proposed action.
No.
J, the proposed action may involve the application of pesticides or herbicides in or around any water body.
No.
K, the proposed action may require the construction of new or expansion of existing wastewater treatment facilities.
No.
And then there's is it L or I? L, other impacts.
None.
Okay, number 4, impact on groundwater.
Answer is no.
Okay. Number 5, impact on flooding.
No.
Impacts on air,
No,
impacts on plants and animals,
no,
impact on agricultural resources,
no,
impact on aesthetic resources.
no,
10, impact on historic or archaeological resources.
they answered yes.
Okay, and that's what you guys find. Then we'll go through the sub-questions. A, the proposed action may occur wholly or partially within or substantially contiguous to any buildings, archaeological site, or district which is listed on the National or State Register of Historic Places or that has been determined by the Commissioner of the New York State Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation to be eligible for listing on the State Register of Historic Sites.
I guess that's moderate impact.
B, the proposed action may incur wholly or partially within or substantially contiguous to an area designated as sensitive for archaeological sites on the New York State Historic Preservation Office Archaeological Site Inventory.
Moderate impact.
C, the proposed action may occur wholly or partially within or substantially contiguous to an archaeological site not included on New York SHPO inventory.
No.
Other impacts?
None.
If any of the above are answered moderate to large impact, continue with following questions. So E, little I, little 2I, and 3I. You want me to go through the sub-questions? The proposed action may result in the destruction or alteration of all or part of the site or property. The proposed action may result in the alteration of the property's setting or integrity.
No.
The proposed action might result in the introduction of visual elements which are out of character with the site or property.
No.
11, impact on open space and recreation.
None.
12, impact on critical environmental areas.
None.
13, impact on transportation.
None.
14, impact on energy.
None.
15, impact on noise, odor, and light.
Yes.
Okay, then I'll lead through the questions. A, the proposed action may produce sound above noise levels established by local regulation. B, the proposed action might result in blasting within 1,500 feet of a residence, hospital, school, licensed daycare, or nursing home. The proposed action might result in routine odors for more than 1 hour per day. The D, the proposed action may result in light shining onto adjoining properties.
No.
E, the proposed action might result in lighting, creating sky glow brighter than existing area conditions.
No.
F, any other impacts. 16, impact on human health.
None.
17, consistency with community plans. Is it not consistent with adopted land use plan? So that's the question.
No.
Okay. 18, consistency with community character.
It is consistent.
Okay, so you have that. There is part 3 in the engineer provided in case the town board wanted to consider some of the reasons supporting a determination of negative declaration. And I think we should read the items that they did, which refer to the moderate type impacts. For 1B, it says a portion of the proposed action will involve construction on slopes of 15% or greater. The project will only impact a narrow path with the adjacent slopes left undisturbed, with the use of erosion and sediment control devices during construction, as well as the existing topography to put back in place. No significant environmental impacts will occur. So what the engineer's doing is saying how the town can make sure that that possible moderate impact can be dealt with. 1D, although approximately 2,900 cubic yards is to be excavated, only a small amount of material unsuitable for backfill will be removed. The majority of the excavated material is to be used as backfill. As such, a significant environmental impact is not impacted because you're going to dig a hole, you're going to put a new pipe in, and you're going to put this stuff right back in. So that's what they're explaining. 3D, an APA exists adjacent to the northernmost portion of the project. However, no construction shall occur within the wetland. The wetland has been delineated, and erosion and sediment control devices will be used in the project to ensure there are no impacts to the wetland during construction. 10A and 10B, it is located near the Warrensburg Hamlet Historic District. SHPO was contacted in regards to this project. SHPO reviewed the project and determined that no significant impacts to historic or archaeological resources will occur. And then they give you the reference number from SHPO, which is how they're dealing with those concerns. 15C, during construction, there will be the presence of fuel oils associated with the operation of heavy equipment. This will only occur during the hours of construction. Additionally, a large portion of the project is located away from residences, so only a portion of the construction would impact any nearby homeowners. These odors are typical with construction and only present in select hours. Therefore, no significant environmental impacts occur. So if the town board agrees with the findings, then they've suggested Xing a box of no significant adverse impacts and a negative declaration, and we have a resolution which was sent to you, which adopts that.
This is the resolution adopting a seeker negative declaration in connection with the town wastewater treatment main project. And that's in your packet. And what is the pleasure of the board?
Adopt resolution.
So are you making a motion
Yes,
to?
I am.
Second?
I'll second it.
Second by Brian to adopt the resolution of negative seeker declaration in connection with any discussion. Rich? Anybody? Anybody? All those in favor of passing this resolution signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Do you need to do a voice vote on this?
No.
No. Okay. Okay, that's clear. I will say the main part of this, I think the reason why we had to do this is the line initially came down, was a ductile iron pipeline. It came down pretty straight. And during the project and discussing this with the landowners, we decided to shift the pipe one way or another. And then in the easements for National Grid, it fouls a lot of their high tension wires down through there. And there's some, what do they call those cables?
Guide wires.
Guide wires. We had to move the pipe. We had to go one way and then back down to get away from their guide wires. So that's the main reason for this. And the change made sense from our standpoint. That pipe's been there a long time, and this one hopefully will last just as long. So
We're actually moving away from a water stream as well.
yeah, yes. When you get down,
Yeah, get away from it. Yeah.
right. So, but I thought that's the first time I think we've gone through a 3-part environmental.
In a while,
In a long
and we're
time.
starting to see EFCs requiring people that are getting their money even when we would have suggested, I mean, the law says it would have implied a short form, but there were some moderate impacts.
No, it's
So
very
that's
thorough.
appropriate, and the engineer did a thorough job and worked with Leah, and working our way through that.
Absolutely, they do a very thorough job. Okay,
And then we had a proposed water line easement agreement that we're going to.
yes, everybody had a chance to read that. And a motion to town to adopt a permanent wastewater easement agreement for the properties. Motion by Rich,
Second, Kevin.
second by John, to accept the water line easement agreement. Any comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Next, we were going to have some discussion on an application authorizing housing rehabilitation grant through the New York State Homes and Community Renewal Agency. This grant, we will apply for $400,000 in grant funding. This funding would be used up to approximately, I think the most they would lend out is $25,000 for any single project. It's $400,000. This would help a lot of our income eligible people in town fix up their properties. I think it's a smart thing to do. We haven't done it here in our community in a long, long time. Warren County used to do it, and we used to have a guy go around and do this. So I think it makes sense. We're going to apply for the max, which is $400,000. Flatley Reed out of Schuylerville will prepare the funding application, and I think it's the best, really good to do this. So somebody want to make a motion? Motion by Rich, second by Brian, to have Flatley Reed prepare a grant application in the amount of $400,000. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Next, we'll need a resolution request to set a public hearing on August 10th. And we'll set that for immediately, although it says 7 o'clock, it'll be immediately following the conclusion of the ambulance district public hearing. So somebody want to make that a motion? Brian, or John and Brian, the motion to set the public hearing will be immediately following the ambulance district public hearing on August 10th. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Okay, next is resolution request to accept the bid proposal from Sinaro in the amount of $937,734 for the wastewater treatment plant lagoon sludge removal project. We had two bids. One was this 937, the other one was over $1 million. Engineer had thoroughly studied both proposals and gave the go-ahead to accept this proposal, which was a low bid proposal. So somebody want to make a motion? Rich? Second by John, to accept the bid of $937,734 from Sinagro for the wastewater treatment lagoon sludge removal project. All those in favor? Aye. This is, the lagoons were put in 1992. So there's been limited maintenance on those lagoons. And we do have some, every now and then we'll test how one of the tests will be off. And we tried other alternatives for us to dredge the lagoons on our own and fill up some containment of lagoons. It's just not going fast enough. And the way to make those lagoons operable for the next 20, 30 years would be to do a full-blown dredging of them. And this is the proper way to do this. Now, it's pricey. It's going to cost. We've got to pay for it. We're going to have to borrow money to do this. We don't have $937,000 in a coffee can anywhere that I'm aware of. And so we are going to have to borrow money to do this. And in that vein, you know, obviously we're not going to put the full burden of this on the residents of the sewer district, but we have not done anything with the sewer district rates since 2010. So it is time for us to take a peek at our sewer district rates. So we've been pretty good maintaining since then a little bit of fund balance, but with all the changes in the rules and regulations, and we've done a lot of work at that sewer plant, and it's all been paid for. We have gone along and been able to pay for all the projects we've done to make the plant better, more efficient, operational. And this one here is a little more to bite off. And in the future, we'll be having discussions on raising the sewer rates. But I just want the public to know this is a big project. It needs to be done, and it impacts the sewer district. So going forward. Any questions from the board members? No. Okay. I got a request from the Hickory Legacy Foundation for Occupancy Tax Funds in amount of $1,140 for advertising and music entertainment. They had a recent barbecue event on July 9th. The Legacy Foundation at Hickory is trying to revive it, and they're trying to hold fundraisers. This is one that they put forth, and they came to me and asked about some occupancy tax money. I told them they had to, spend the money to advertise. The event was somewhat successful. I wouldn't say it was hugely successful. She is going to try to do another one, and hopefully by us reimbursing her for these expenses, it may allow her to do some more advertising on the next one. So I need a motion to approve $1,140 occupancy tax funds.
Nothing.
John?
I'll second.
Brian? Discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. And last but not least, I did participate in the annual town supervisor for a day with the fourth graders at Warrensburg Elementary School again. It was Miss Chapman's class. Luckily, I was able to go over there this year and have questions from fourth graders. And as I think I told Tom Randall, when you talk to fourth graders, they have some real good ideas of the town. And we tried to institute a few that they gave me, and we have nice presentations that they did. And Tom covered most of that in the Sun in his article, but the kids really put a lot of effort in about, they want to see the town clean. They want to see, more recycling. So we did go out and purchase some recycling cans to put next to our trash cans on the main street. Obviously, everything's backed up. We may see them by Christmas to order them, but that's one of the things we did. They talked about noise in the morning, getting to school, construction, and there's a lot of good projects. And we still have some left from last year that we wanted to do when COVID hit. That, we still have the splash pad. We talked about finding a spot for the splash pad over at the recreation field. And I keep the list going, and eventually when we get through with all these other projects, maybe we can tackle that. Now, it took us a good year and a half to finally get to the tennis courts and the pickleball. And while we did that, we looked at the fence around the tennis courts. It looks pretty ugly. So why not, if we're going to rehab the tennis court and put in the pickleball courts, it made sense to change the fencing around the courts also. So that'll be a good add to our recreation field. And so we're happy with that. So these projects will go in a folder. I'll review them. And if there's some that we can tick off and take care of, we'll try. And like I said, we still have some from last year. The kids were very, very attentive, and they did a good job. They all presented in PowerPoint fashion. They're fourth graders, and I enjoyed my time there. I was in the old elementary school. It brought back a lot of memories. I didn't tell them how old I was, but it brought back a lot of memories. But it's a good program they do every year, and I really look forward to it. I think they look forward to having me come. So that being said, we have some budget transfers tonight. We have one from contingency, $750 into Justice Insurance Fund in the amount of $750 that to cover a stipend for health insurance for our justice clerk who went outside and gets health insurance outside of the town. Next, we have taken money out of data processing contractual and transferring into data processing equipment, and that's for $37.27 to help pay for a laptop computer for the bookkeeper. And last but not least, $1,685.70 to come out of cemetery contractual and transfer it into cemetery equipment to cover a new mower for the cemetery, which looks pretty good up there. Motion by Rich, second by John to approve the transfers. Now on the warrants tonight, we have $124,665.59. I need a motion to pay warrant number 7. Motion by John,
I'll second.
second by Brian to pay warrant Number 7, an amount of $124,665.59. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay. Comments from the public? Anybody from the public wish to comment about anything tonight? No? Yes, ma'am.
Tom Randall would like to thank you for mentioning his article for the supervisor today.
What did,
Tom Randall, thank you for mentioning his article about the supervisor for the day program.
yeah, Tom does a great job. He captures all that. He does a good job covering it. It was a great article in the Sun. For anybody who didn't see it, it was in a couple weeks ago. Okay, I have one statement I want to read to the public, and this came from the town assessor. Dear town board members, this memo shall serve to address the public comments made by a certain taxpayer at the May 2022 town board meeting regarding their 2022 assessment. I have viewed the meeting on YouTube and noted the comments made at said meeting. I would like to take this opportunity to clarify the matter and set the record straight. The public comment made by the property owner that they were assessed for an in-ground pool that does not exist. While my notes show that on March 28, 2022, a town permit was issued for a 36 by 16 in-ground pool, the pool was not added to the parcel 2022 assessment. What had been added to the 2022 assessment were 2 sheds that were placed on a parcel. This was clearly explained to the homeowner in a telephone conversation on May 11, 2022 at approximately 2:25 p.m., the same day as the town board meeting. In that call, it was made clear to the property owner that the pool was only placed in my notes for future reference, and the pool was not added to the 2022 property assessment. Only sheds were added. It is beyond me why this person made a false and misleading public statement at the town board meeting about the non-existent pool being assessed, as I was under the impression that the matter was clarified earlier in the day. If there were further questions or need for further clarification, this person was free to come and discuss their concerns. My office is always open for the people to come in and discuss their assessments. In closing, for the record, I am unequivocally affirm to the town board that the parcel was not assessed as aforementioned in-ground pool, only 2 sheds. Over the years of my tenure, I have worked hard to bring and establish honesty and integrity to this office. This job is tough enough without inaccurate and misleading public statements. I have requested that this response be read aloud at the June 2022 board meeting so that it is both publicly heard and recorded on various online media. And that came from the town assessor, Greg Klinger. He's pretty upset about misleading statements made at May meeting. Are there any other questions? Any other comments from the public? I appreciate everybody turning out. Remember, every Wednesday night we have nice concerts at the recreation field. There's one going on tonight. You probably could get over there and catch an hour of it. But and again, I want to thank the public for coming out, and hopefully next month's meeting may be lively, so I get here early and fill up the front row seats. So with that said, we're adjourned. Thank you. All right.